Good day, folks. This is Greg Judy, Green Pasture Farm. Today, we finished getting all the brush off of this side with the tractor and the grapples. And we're on Doug and Joanna's farm, the lease with the bulls, the bull mob, and it really made a difference getting all this brush out of here. It really opened it up. We've got a huge brush pile started. I can't get that down in there right now. It's just a little bit sticky with that tractor, a little bit too, it's not froze hard enough. And so we're gonna leave that until the ground gets a little more frozen. I think today's high was 22. It's a little nippy out here. But we're gonna start on that side over there tomorrow. It worked real good, just taking the fence down to the ground right here. And we'll put it back up right when we get done. We may need to get in on that dam over there tomorrow, so that's why we're not putting it all back in their individual cotter keys or just sticking it up where the bulls can't get in there. But man, it made a big difference. There was a ton of brush in there. I'm going to show you the brush pile I made. This is probably 3 hours, 4. Let's see what time it is. It's 2, yeah. They didn't take a lunch today. I just worked through it. The boys brought over some warm food for us. Jackson and I just kind of made an afternoon of it out here. And Isaac and Ike came in and helped finish it up. Where are you guys going? They're going back to their stockpile. So we gave them a little strip up there today, their normal strip, and that's where they're headed. Some really good grazing on this farm. I'll show you this pile of brush. This is only half of it. Actually, the other side of the pond has more brush on it than this side had. But it's gonna make some really good habitat. We've got some big logs on the bottom down there. And then there's just a ton of brush. So this won't be burned. If you lit that on fire, you'd kill those trees. You can torch these cedars. Those hickories would be dead. Of course, that tree there is already dead. That's an old elm tree. Folks, there is a lot of brush. I don't know how many days it would take you to do that by hand. And you know, video never does it justice, but that thing's 16 feet tall by 40 feet across. And it's probably at least 30 foot wide. It's packed in there tight. I mean, I used that four-wheel drive tractor and I slammed it in there as hard as I could. And so that's gonna make some really good habitat for rabbits. And we've got an old stock tank down here. I'm waiting until I get more up here on the side of this hill, like right in here. And this is where that stock tank will go, covered with that brush. So that'll be the finishing touches on our habitat. But it was a lot of pushing, a lot of carrying, and you can see the ground's froze pretty good out here because I didn't leave any ruts. Up there around that pond, I made one dash in there, one spot, and I saw I was going down. I just backed out, had Isaac and them bring over a shovel, and we filled in that rut. Best time to fill in this rut is when you make it while it's still soft. These bulls, you know, they've got a pretty good life. They eat, sleep, drink, and breed. Oh, that's a beaut right there. Got a little bare spot on his shoulder. He's rubbing on trees. They're really starting to rub on these cedars. There's another beaut. I think we're just about halfway on the bull that's sold out. So I've never sold that many bulls this quick. So I'm guessing it's going to be a sold out year again on bulls. They are extremely low maintenance, 100% forage raised, no grain. Of course, no fancy hay or anything. I think they've had 5 bales all winter long. The rest has all been stockpile fescue. So they're used to grazing. That's what they do. That's what ruminants do, is they graze. So we're getting there. We're getting there. I'm really tickled the way this pond looks. Gonna get some sunlight in there, man. I mean, it was so clogged with trees. There wasn't any sun that could get to the water. And sunlight on water is what makes oxygen. And if you're building a pond, let me give you a tip. And you're putting a pipe in the bottom of it to go through that dam over there. Make sure that the pipe, when you put it in the newly built pond, has a standpipe with a cap on it. That standpipe needs to come up at least 6 feet. And drill holes in the top of that cap down the first 3 feet on that pipe. That ensures that you're taking water into your livestock tank below on the upper portion of your pond. The top 6 to 7 feet of that water out there is where your most oxygen is. If you get down below 6 to 7 feet, you're putting water in that tank back that doesn't have a lot of oxygen in it. And cattle don't do as well. It's a pretty simple fact. So that's Mark Bader, rest in peace. He was the sharpest guy I think I ever knew on animal nutrition. And you know, you just can't get enough oxygen, you know, in your water to. It's especially on hot summer days. I've seen fish, you know, swimming around, just getting a little air on the top of the water on a real hot summer day. And on really murky water, it's even worse. And if you've got manure, I've got a friend that had a neighbor put a manure pile up the hill from his pond. And when it rained, all that nitrogen from that manure pile came down into his pond. And he lost 150 channel cat that were about 4 to 5 pounds. Wheelbarrowed them out, wheelbarrows at a time, dead, bloated channel cat. And took the water and had it sampled, and it was like 40 times more nitrates than should have been in there. So yeah, his neighbor did him a favor on that deal. Got him up ready to eat catfish, and then the manure pile from the neighbor, it rained and it washed all that manure nitrogen right down into that pond. So don't be making a manure pile in your watershed, or it's going to get a heavy rain and wash that into the pond. It's not good for the fish. But I remember that summer, the few that were still alive were the bluegill, and they were even swimming around the top of the pond, gasping for breath, just trying to get some oxygen. So I'm excited about this. We get that all cleaned up over there. Man, it's gonna look nice. It's gonna look like a park in here. Anyway, I'm gonna sign off. My fingers are freezing. It's 9 degrees out here. This morning, I think we're up to 20 right now. But it's just nippy out here with the wind. Everyone have a good one, and hit that subscribe button on the way out, and we'll see y'all down the road. Oh, and the advanced grading school is sold out. So don't be clicking on it trying to sign up. We're not taking any more attendees for the Isaac. You threw a piece of stick across that. It looked like a hockey puck going across there. Anyway, have a good one, folks.